I was freaking the fuck out, to be honest, for like 20 minutes. Holy shit, I'm gonna die. Especially when the war just started, I was getting messages from people basically saying, you know, kill yourself, you're Russian, whatever. But otherwise, yeah, I have love for my city still, you know, and...
Oh, sorry, I just got a breaking news. There's a plane crash at Toronto International Airport.
Huh.
That's exciting.
I think it was DEI.
Welcome back to Horseshoe Theory. Today's guest is Roman Abalin, a Russian YouTuber who has spent the last decade documenting his life and modern Russian culture in the Russian city of Chelyabinsk. During the outbreak of the war in Ukraine, he fled Russia to escape the various bans on Western social media, first moving to Georgia and then to Portugal, where he is awaiting EU residency. Since then, his content has taken a sharp political turn as he speaks out against propaganda, Putin government, and Russian disinformation, all of which we cover in this episode. We have a hard rule of always doing this podcast in person, but since Roman can't easily come to Canada, we figured this would be a worthy guest to bend this rule for. If you want to listen to this full episode and participate in the guest Q&A, please follow us on Patreon in the link below. Thank you as always for listening, as we welcome you, Roman Abalin, aka No Fuckers.
All right, so we're here with Hyperborean content creator No Frickers. I'm intentionally going with the No Frickers. I think
There's No Frickers.
Yeah.
Roman No Frickers.
It's because it's the first minute of the video. You cannot swear.
But
so.
I'll forget. Yeah, I'm gonna forget this. I'm gonna forget to call you No Frickers in about 45 seconds.
Yeah. Oh man, has that ever hurt your career that your name is just a curse word?
Oh yeah. I mean, I talked to. We already started, right?
Yeah,
First
we're
of all,
live now.
Just making sure. Good. All right. Happy to see everybody. Yeah. My name, it's dumb. Yeah. Like I actually made a video about this a couple of like months back. Because I came up with my name when I was like 11 years old. No, not even that. I think like 10 probably. And like my dad bought me an Xbox, and I had to come up with a gamer tag. And, you know, my level of English, I had some level of English back then, but not as good as now, obviously. So I was just like, what's this edgy, cool name that always sounds zany and whatever to come up with? And No Fuckers with a Z at the end is, you know, what my mind made up. My 11-year-old Russian mind made up. I don't know. But yeah, it is annoying to not say your own name for sure.
a lot of excellent usernames have been invented by 11-year-olds.
It's true.
So we have Gokunaru. That guy made that name because he really liked Goku and Naruto. That might surprise you. He made a beautiful fusion of the names Goku and Naruto. And now it's the staple of the commentary genre.
Yeah.
I wonder.
That's just what it is like on YouTube.
Yeah, I wonder how many. Wonder how many of those names that are like Blork, Snim Snam, all the all the commentary greats.
Yeah, no, exactly. Not even commentary. I think just anybody in general.
Yeah.
Like when you come up, you know, you make your name when you're 10 years old, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a 40-year-old man with the same name.
Yes,
probably,
when you're
trying to asking for people to take me seriously.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Did you have Rogan? Did you have like a username that you used like?
Oh, my Xbox Live gamer tag was "Please, I want a man."
Please, I want a man.
All one word, yeah.
Please, I want a. Where did that come from?
I just thought being gay was really funny, and I was like, "Guys, I'm gay." I was like 13.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
nice.
a classic.
Yeah.
Mine was always a headacher. Because when I was 10, this guy had a headache, and I could see the chat on this website called Congregate where I'd play Flash games. And I was epically trolling him when I was 10 because I made an account called Headacher, and I was like, I am your headache. That's what I went with. And now I probably
No Fuckers is the first name I ever had, and I just first name forever. That's what it was for me. Yeah, I didn't have a nickname before that. I was not on the internet before that. So
yeah,
that was my first name.
Interesting. Yeah. I always thought I'd be I'd go with MCSWM. I don't know why. It was stood for middle class straight white man, and that was like my rapper name. I'm like MC Swim.
Yeah.
That was a terrible name.
Middle class straight white man.
But then I had a second channel called like Flava Crava, which is where I posted my first video ever for a school project. And I changed that to like Jreg. I don't know why. I don't even remember doing this. But that ended up being the name that stuck because I posted a video on my second channel.
Yeah, Jreg is a good name. I like it.
Henry, you're getting a call from
Henry, you're getting a call from a name I can't pronounce.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's good. I hear you guys.
Okay.
So.
Yes. So this is a very special episode of the Horseshoe Theory podcast. I'm gonna do a quick land acknowledgement here. Final Girl Digital she brought in. She's a girl content creator, and she likes old tech, and she brought in very old tech. So we're streaming you from a Windows 98 computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it looks like, but I was told that I look very vaporwave, Macintosh Plus right now.
Indeed.
That's cool.
Yeah, it'll be a cool vibe.
And we're doing this because normally we have a hard rule. This must exist in flesh space, this podcast.
Yeah.
But for you, we're breaking that rule because that was not going to happen. We were not going to get you to Toronto for various socio-political reasons.
Yeah, exactly. With just my passport, basically. That's the main reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I will be able someday to come to Canada, but yeah, there's issues that are stopping me from essentially being able to roam around the world pretty freely. Like I wasn't even really able to access the European Union, before, for a while. I mean, at least when I was living in Georgia, and I was in a situation where I essentially couldn't apply for any visa or anything because I'm just like no residency, foreign citizen, so I can't really do shit. But now here, I'm gonna be able to apply for like American or Canada visa later, but like. It's not a guarantee that I'm gonna get it, So
yeah, walk me through the your sort of citizenship journey between like February 2022 up until now, because you've been it seems like it's just been a giant headache based on what I've observed.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Yeah, well, I think one of the reasons why I'm so just in general, I mean, I think people kind of feel this way if they watch my videos that I kind of have a little bit of I am a Russian Doomer. In a sense, right? Like you if you know that stereotype, the archetype, like with the fucking hat and with the cigarette in front of the comic block, that is me, kind of. You become kind of a Doomer because you just you face how bad and just stupid all these systems are and how they don't work, like immigration systems or whatever. When you face this and you feel insane, once again,
yeah,
I essentially, I mean, my journey has been. It's pretty simple, but things just take a long time. First of all, when when the war started with Ukraine, I was just like, all right, gotta leave this bitch. This is insane. And so.
And you just moved to St. Petersburg, right?
Yeah. That was I lived in St. Petersburg at the time when the war started, and then I already had kind of a limited amount of options, where to go, in a sense, because. Once again, as a Russian citizen, most of the places they can go is it's like countries of the post-Soviet Union or, I don't know, it's mostly places that I wouldn't choose to be my country or where I'm going to be living for my entire life now or whatever. But I had a limited amount of choices and I chose Georgia because Georgia is a country that has a very good sort of libertarian, I guess, in a sense. I mean, it's good. It was good for me at the time. I don't even know if it's good. It's not a commentary for me that this is how borders should be. I'm just saying that in Georgia at the time, you could come there and stay for an entire year without a visa. So essentially, all you can do is you can just go there, live for an entire year, do a visa run, come back, and people are living like this in that country for, it's a big country for expats too and stuff.
Interesting.
But yeah, and then, but then, I found myself being stuck in a way because I couldn't apply for a visa anywhere or anything. So I didn't know what to do. Also, it's really hard to choose. It's just you just picking and choosing like this. What country should I base my entire life around now? It's hard. But I was just I essentially contacted an immigration firm, and they were like, Portugal is a good option for you possibly. And I was like, all right, I guess. I mean, sounds cool. And I like the ocean. So yeah.
And now you're waiting for citizenship? Is that what your next step is?
No. I'm waiting for residency, right? Citizenship is way far away. Obviously, first of all, you got to get residency, and right now, there's a bit of a messed up situation here. They have you waiting for they have people waiting for a year and more, a lot of the times. I mean, I heard that's the case for most of European Union now, but you're essentially, I'm waiting for the residency, and then I could get the citizenship, obviously, technically. Supposedly, Portugal has a system where you're supposed to live here for 6 years, and then you could get a citizenship. They could change that, though. If every country in Europe just gets overtaken by far-right parties, they're going to make it no, let's make it 16 years, actually,
right.
Not 6.
and
or something.
Wait,
you know?
is that? But is that the trajectory that Georgia is on? Because I've heard some news politically.
Well, I'm in Portugal now. I'm talking about Georgia in what sense?
Like I heard that Georgia went through like
the fucked up election.
Yeah.
Was it who's
yeah,
the
Gatsu?
Yeah, it was about Gatsu's video. Like, there's people that are like stuffing the ballot boxes, and there's like people going and like voting 10 times.
That's very
right.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, what's happening in Georgia is that they have. You could describe it in a way as a kind of a puppet regime of Russia, in a sense that like they. It's difficult. It's difficult out there, but basically they are kind of like passing a lot of laws right now that are just like following what Russia has done in the past like 5-10 years. Like they passed like a foreign agent law, for example, which is exactly the same as the Russian one. They banned LGBT propaganda just now, Georgia, which is a law that Russia has.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, like the election was like whatever, crazy, falsified, and that's how elections go down in Russia. Stuffed ballots, people are not allowed as volunteers to oversee what is going on and anything. Yeah, just like this post-Soviet fucking nonsense, man. Like that's the reality that we have to live in.
I think the left should start stuffing ballots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do what they think the leftists are doing, Like get the dead people voting.
Yeah.
In en masse.
The mail-in ballots, mail in like 10 to every voter.
Yes.
Yeah. You can vote for Kamala Harris 10 times.
No. It's got to be a communist party.
Oh, okay.
It has to be an anti-democratic left-wing party.
Oh, like the ACP.
Yeah, the ACP needs to start stuffing the ballots.
I'm sure
Haz Aladdin for president.
Yes.
I'm sure they ideologically align. I'm sure like Haz has a great speech about like why.
I love his video about his destroying neo-conservatives. That's the only one video of him I've seen, and it's enough for me. Like that's the one I've seen. It's just funny.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, this guy's funny. That's just my impression.
That's good. That's how I interact with every political commentator. I just pick whatever thing that I like from them, and then I like everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one's funny.
Yes. I mean, exactly. I was actually. I was in the gym just now, and I was watching your podcast with Noah Sampson. Actually, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do research, prepare for this. For the hard questions that I'm going to be asked.
Yeah, we're a hard-hitting podcast. We're very disagreeable.
Yes. But yeah, like you were discussing in that podcast about how like on the internet everybody's like a completely different person in a way. Like you're way more confrontational and stuff like that. And that's also true for me too. Like in real life, I'm chill, whatever. I'm kind of down to have a conversation with people and so on. But like. Yeah, on the internet, it's like everybody just fucking wants you to go for your throat.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you did enough research, but this actually is a blood sports debate podcast.
No, I do. Yes, I actually watched a couple of other ones of yours as well. I know. That's why I went. Yeah, it's like I'm not really even looking to take part in like podcasts where it's like, all right, now I'm gonna have to debate. Like,
yeah,
I'm over debating. Like. Yeah. Dude, I had to like leave my country and change my whole fucking life, and I'm gonna have to debate that is correct.
Yeah,
it's already done. Like, there's no like, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Or I mean, people like debating why. I want your opinion on this. I had this written down. Like, so many American conservatives are like obsessed with Russia, and they like venerate Russia. Like Tucker Carlson, big Russia stan, had that interview with Putin. He's like, oh, Putin's a great guy, and Russia's so much better than the U.S. Yeah,
I've got some bad news for you if you do more research into Haz.
Yeah. No. Yes, exactly. No, I know about that. That's what I'm saying. That's one video I know. That's one video I like. It's like how this whole recent thing with Hassan or whatever. People were shitting on me saying, how can you say that Hassan is like a good content creator or whatever? Even when he's like said disagreeable shit about Ukraine. And I'm like, I don't have to agree. Like, okay, I have to clarify. I don't think that like, I'm not a fan of Haz. Okay, but like, I'm just saying that, on the internet, all these crazy personalities, everybody has like a little moment when they're funny. Like in general, maybe I'm just terminally online. I do like to kind of hate watch people a little bit, to be honest. There's like people who I think are funny and are talented, but I hate their politics, and I think these people are like actively ruining the fucking world. But I still watch them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this fucking guy,
Yeah, I feel that way about JJ McCullough. Sometimes I'm like,
right.
That's funny, but
he's ruining the world.
He's ruining the world.
He's ruining the world.
Yeah, same thing. But and then I would go back to my comfort streamers Haz and Nick Fuentes, and I'm like, now for my real political education.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Normally we offer people zins on this podcast. Can you just take the zin through the screen here? I'll just like.
I'd love. Yeah. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna do a grab and
okay. You have
motion.
the ghosts in now. You got to pop the ghosts in.
I've actually never tried that. It's like zins are similar to snus, right?
Pretty much.
Is that similar?
There's no actual tobacco in it though. It's all just nicotine.
Yeah. I used to like I kind of quit cigarettes a little bit now. I used to smoke a lot because obviously being a Russian Doomer, gotta do it. But like I took snus like only once and it didn't do much for me. Because like I was just like smoking heavily at the time, so I've never really had the true Zin experience. Like I need to try it, or maybe I don't. I don't know.
No, not really. I went the opposite direction that the nicotine replacement products are supposed to give you.
Yeah, you just smoke now.
Yeah, so I started with like a little quarter nicotine gum, and then Zins. And then
vaping,
and then vaping, and now I'll just smoke cigarettes now. So it's like it's really a great way to get people into cigarettes.
I blame myself
I
for
really
this.
just hate vapes now. Like I just can't. It's just too sweet. It's
like.
Well, I'm trying to taste the dirt of the like cigarette. You know what I mean? Like that's
one good thing recently is that my girlfriend thinks vaping is gay.
Yeah.
So so that's a good excuse to not vape quite as much.
To smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. By the way, I mean it is contextual. Just wanted to show you this. Pretty cool shit.
Wow.
This at a flea market here.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
So yeah.
I wish there was cigarettes to scale inside of that you could smoke.
Smoke a giant cigarette.
Yeah.
So where you grew up in Russia, was it common that Oh, sorry, I just got a breaking news. There's a plane crash at Toronto International Airport.
Huh.
That's
what
exciting.
The fuck?
Hundreds dead?
I'll look into that in a second.
I think it was DEI.
It was DEI. Yeah, there's planes falling out of the sky.
I've made my mind up about this already.
Jesus Christ. So where you grew up in Russia, that's like Chelyabinsk, right? Is that the name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like real. That's like real Russia.
Yeah. That's close enough.
I have a friend from Moscow, and I think I was talking about. I was talking about you. I was talking about like Russian people I follow, and I was like, "Yeah, he's from Chelyabinsk." And my friend from Moscow was like, "Ooh," and kind of winced a little bit.
Why?
I don't know. That's like real Russia, right? That's like deep, like in the provinces, like way less wealthy,
I mean, it's like It's like the thing is, it's like what's funny to me is that it seems to me like once I left, it started getting better. It's like people, or just the cope of my Russian friends is just too insane, where they're like constantly saying the city is just so great now, like you gotta come, you gotta see it. But no, like it is, like Chelyabinsk, my hometown. Like first of all, you gotta understand it is pretty big. It is a big city. Like it's not small. It has when I was a kid, it already had over 1 million people. Now it has like 1.2, 1.3 or something. So it's pretty big, and it is like located kind of it's like central Russia, central southern Russia. So it's like pretty close to Kazakhstan actually, Chelyabinsk, like to the border of it, and it's like known. It has a reputation in Russia, my city, of being like the capital of gopniks. Gopniks are like this like Russian hoodlum who like wears Adidas, eats sunflower seeds and whatever, is robbing people in the street basically. It had that reputation. We had like in general, like growing up, I mean, even look, Chelyabinsk is like, it's not a woke city. That's kind of like how I would describe it. Like when I was like 21, 22 living there, and I already had long hair, there's been like 2 cases where somebody on the street screamed me like, "Hey, get a cut, you gay ass," whatever, something like that. Well, they would use worse than that.
Yeah.
But, that type of shit would happen. Or even people would look at me like, I would get crazy looks just for having long hair. That's like, but otherwise, I have love for my city, like still, and even in Chelyabinsk, like this city that seems like what is this? This is in the buttfuck of nowhere. First of all, like I mean, I came out of there, right? That's already something. And then all my friends, like I kind of had a friend group which was like full of people who are also interested in like Western internet, Western music, Western memes. So we all were on the same kind of wavelength. So even in Chelyabinsk, in a city that you might think it's all just, you know, like factory workers or whatever, but I was able to find like an interesting youth or whatever that would, you know, I could relate to in different ways. So yeah, that's cool.
Do many people speak English, or were you like an anomaly for learning English?
Yeah, so I think right now in Russia, to be honest, I do think that more people are getting better at English, like comparatively. But when I was growing up, like, and when I was in school, I mean, I was the only person in my entire class in school that actually gave a fuck enough to even like try at English class at all. And like I don't know why that was to me, but I just I think I had an interest in English from like the beginning. I think a lot of it was like listening. I think I heard like for me a lot of it was hearing Eminem, and I was like, damn, I wanna like it was like rap. Like rap almost kind of made me interested in English, like when I was like a little kid. And then in my class, yeah, like I was the only one really trying, and I was at the end of school, my like 11th grade. We have 11 grades in Russia, so. By the 11th grade, I was the only one in my entire class, like, really able to speak English. Kind of like on a intermediate level or something like that. Plus, I was already, of course, kind of invested in... I was just watching a lot of, like, Western YouTube and that type of stuff. But, yeah, I was the only one also in my school actually passing the exam. Like, it's like... I don't even know what the equivalent is in like Canada or the US, but like we have this thing called Jreg, which is like just exams you take when you finish school. And yeah, I was the only person in my entire school taking one for English.
Oh, damn.
So yeah.
Damn.
So rap, even though it's not real music, apparently, has spread Western influence. Interesting.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. Yes, Eminem is the reason why I'm here today. Yeah.
Thank you, American patriot Eminem.
Or something like that.
So, and you haven't been back since you left, right? Have you been back to Russia at all, or like you can't go back, or what's that like?
I haven't been back, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell, quite honestly. Yeah, like I this is a topic that I've discussed with even on my channel already. Like at this point, I'm just open about talking about this. Like there was at a certain point, there was a time when I was like, maybe I shouldn't even discuss this topic because it like brings attention, or I don't know, like, but first of all, okay, so let's put it this way. My content, right, like I do say shit on my channel that like if I was making these videos in Russian, I think like it would have been kind of not over for me, but I would be like on some kind of watch list probably.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure, maybe, but just because like it's in English and because yeah, I don't think they give a fuck about me. But like I do not go back just out of like I don't know, some kind of self what the fuck is the word? Just trying to, you know, not go to prison basically.
Yeah, self-preservation.
You know, yeah, like I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a good time.
Just that water on the ground. Yeah, have you ever received any threats from anybody over jail time or saying things?
No, not really, fortunately. I mean, there was actually one scare. This happened to me once. This was like a few years ago, and they actually got me. They got me good. So this was like 2018 or 2019, I think. So like you gotta understand with me also coming from Russia and like leaving Russia, the levels and like the degree to which I'm outspoken about certain things has changed, you know, in a way, because the further you get, the easier it is to be kind of free and outspoken, I guess, in a sense, right? You don't really feel like they're on your ass, basically. Like they can literally knock on your door and fucking, you know, yeah. So, I never had anything legit, yeah. But in like 2018 or 2019, once again, that was at a time when I was less outspoken for sure, but already had a sort of a political outlook on all this. You know, I was openly talking about like my dislike for the government or whatever, and I got like an email. The email was like from FSB, which is like the Russian FBI or whatever, basically. You know, they're like the MI6 or whatever, that's the analogy. And the email was just like, we're investigating you for this, for like being a traitor. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like, yeah, we're investigating you. We're gonna like, you need to like expect like a letter inviting you to the court or something. Like that's what it was. And I was like, holy shit, this is like, what the fuck? And the email was a legit email actually. And I sent it to my friend, and my friend was like, check the source code of the email. And it was like a prank. Somebody tried to like, so somebody sent a prank email to me.
That's
and they,
crazy.
I mean, I was freaking the fuck out, to be
Jesus
honest.
Christ.
For like 20 minutes. I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna die. Yeah, like it was not good.
It's crazy how they can just spoof the email so that it looks like it's coming from the official email. Because I got a Nike sponsorship, and I'm like, no, I didn't. But it was from Nike.com, and so I was like, that looks so legit. And then I figured out you can just check the source and find.
Yeah. To me, it feels like these days the only sponsors I'm getting are fake sponsors.
Yeah.
Like, the only sponsorship emails I'm getting are fake sponsorship.
Yeah, there's like
emails.
10 fake
no
ones.
No legit ones.
To one real one.
Yeah, I get like 4 a day probably as well.
Yeah. But Duolingo on Twitter from a 40 follower account was really interested in sponsoring me. Isn't that exciting?
That's nice.
Yeah, Duolingo.
They'll launch you a meme coin as well, probably.
Yes. Hey, boss, I got a meme coin project for you.
Yeah, Jreg coin 3.0.
Yeah, that's a good next step for my career, I think.
Yeah,
$1,200.
$1,200. Jesus.
It's so insane to me how. I mean, like now this is just. I'm waiting now for when Putin launches a meme coin. It's like it has to happen now.
Yeah.
Like
Javier Milei didn't launch one.
Argentina, the US, they're doing it. So like, they should do it.
Yeah. What was the meme coin?
At this point, the bar is so low.
Yeah. What was the meme coin? Javier Milei launched
Libra.
Yeah, and it crashed just recently.
Rug pulled. Cuba had one.
Imagine getting rug pulled. Like crypto rug pulled by your government?
By your libertarian government.
That's awesome.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. The state of the world, man. I was when I was doing like just a research before this, right? I was trying to like look up controversy, and like nothing came up with you. I looked up like no fuckers controversy, and there was no hit. So that's good.
Okay. Wait, what, you were trying to find like his darkest moment?
I wanted to see if there was like I don't know, because I feel like we've done podcasts where people are like, you didn't talk about this? I'm like, I didn't even know about that. But
yeah.
Wait, when is that come
I feel like
up?
we've definitely gotten comments being like,
why didn't you talk about this?
Yeah, why didn't you talk about this?
Who?
I forget. We definitely got a comment though.
Okay.
One comment. Anyway, but I found there was a Reddit post, and it was like,
okay,
is Roman okay? His like videos seem so dark now. And I'm thinking like, it's like, of course it's dark.
Yeah, like what do you want him to do exactly? Like as someone who's been directly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, I was just saying. I guess you're making a point that I don't have that much controversy on the internet. I guess just in general, like as like written internet lore in a sense, which is I guess kind of more or less true. Yeah, I mean, I'm just. Again, like, I think I had more controversy back in... honestly, the last controversy I remember having was, like, beefing with Keemstar in, like, 2016. Like, that's what the fucking... That's when I was controversial. Well, I mean, I'm controversial now, right? But I'm just, like... I don't really try to... Yeah, like, I kind of left... In a weird way, I kind of left the commentary community in a sense. Because I used to be, like, more of a central part of it in a way, like, many, many years ago. And I wasn't more involved in drama and whatnot. And then what happened to me is that I just got tired of making like YouTube drama slop, basically. And I was like, I just thought to myself, that was like 2018, I think, or something like that. And I was like, so if I'm making, drama slop, I'm just like some shitty commentary guy with a shitty accent. Like, why would people even watch me? Like, it's like, if you compare me to any other like drama slop YouTuber, it's like, there's just nothing to watch. So I thought to myself, why don't I use what I've been given in a way, like the fact that I'm Russian, I know the Russian language, I kind of know the Western culture a little bit, and also I can tell people about my culture. So I thought, why not kind of, give more attention to that and talk about things I know, and that would be more original content that would be more interesting for people, and I guess would give me my kind of own lane. So that's what I tried to do.
Interesting. Yeah. Perfect time to make that switch from being the link between Russian and Western culture. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so. But like, it's also like it's a bit of an uncomfortable position to be in too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, I'm just happy that things that turned out the way they did anyway. Because at the end of the day, like, I was once again when even before the war started, that was like the big moment, obviously, where when the war started, like. I knew that I would have to make a statement because like it's impossible. You talk about Russia for years and years on your channel, and then you have to ignore this now. Like you can't do that. Like it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I and the people's reaction. I've got a lot of support, and I did get a lot of insane shit too. Like especially when the war just started, like. I was getting messages from people basically saying, like, kill yourself, you're Russian, whatever.
Yes.
Like that. I understand there was a lot of emotions and stuff going on at the time. And actually, funnily enough, some of these people later would come back and message me again saying, sorry, I was not in the right like headspace.
Yeah.
Like you're not a bad person.
Oops.
It's like
oops, I became racist via current events. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's perfect, I guess. I don't know. It's hard for me because I always try to, I try to be woke or whatever, but even for me, sometimes it's hard to not have any prejudice or anything. Like I don't know, it's hard. So I understand why people would do that, but I don't really, I'm not gonna defend it, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find like you've been forced to be? Like, would you want to be less political if you had the opportunity, like, given the state of the world? Like, you've been forced to be politicized? Are you okay with, like, pivoting towards...
I think to a certain degree, I was forced to be politicized, of course. Because, once again, like, I became politicized, actually, way earlier than, I became politicized, like, when I was, like, a teenager, actually. And, Russia was the main culprit of that. Like 2014 was a big moment for me, I think. Back in the day, that was when like Crimea annexation happened, essentially, and the first sanctions ever were introduced, and like the ruble crashed like twofold in like a few days or something. And that was actually so in 2014, I was making like MLG videos, basically. Like back then, I didn't even feature my voice or anything in my videos, and essentially. I already just started making a little bit of money on YouTube. Like my first money, I made some first. Like I think I had like maybe $1,000 saved up or something. Like over the course of a few months, I had that saved up, and then essentially the annexation happened. The ruble crashed, and I was like, okay, so like this is not normal. When a fucking currency crashes twofold in a few days, like what the fuck is this? Yeah, I was like, this is not like this is the first money I've ever made in my life, and now like. Because of the decisions of some dumbasses, I'm gonna lose all of this now? Like, what is this? So that's when initially kind of I started kind of thinking about these issues, for sure. But yeah, obviously with the start of the war and, because I was already, talking about Russian stuff, yeah, like, I had to be politicized. But I definitely, I chose this too, to a certain degree, because I could have been, a YouTuber making content about something completely unrelated. I could have just gone through the same kind of process, leaving Russia and whatever, but that would just be, kind of in the shadows. Like, I wouldn't really discuss it in a sense, but it just happened. It just happened that I'm in this, I made videos about this, and this seemed like the most logical thing. I'm not necessarily opposed to making non-political content too. That's what I kind of started with. And I am in a bit of a crisis regarding that too, to be honest. Like, I don't want to be overtly political. Like, I've been reached out to by, like, for example, like Russian opposition media to like collaborate and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily want to be part of like Russian politics. I don't want to be, actually, because it proves to be like fucking deadly.
Yeah.
So I just want to be like a YouTuber. I want to mention obviously what is going on in the world, but I also want to kind of just show, my channel is just the experience of a normal guy going through this insane like geopolitical change or whatever, kind of trying to grind this shit out and make something for himself.
Yeah.
But of course, sometimes I do think I do get very political, maybe more than I should. But I don't know. I just try to talk about issues that I think are important, and a lot of what I make is like also, yeah, like I try to be, consistent, try to make slop or whatever in a sense, but like, I don't know. I don't know. It's fucking hard. Like, I'm also figuring this shit out.
Yeah. You made a point in one of your videos. There's like, Chad from America, growing up, middle class, plenty of wealth, seeming to have the opinion that you should like go die for your country, or like not for your country, but you should like go fight in the war or something.
Yeah.
And just from that place of privilege, like these people have these strongly held political beliefs for things that, they're not affecting them really. In the same way it's affected you. And that was a good point to make, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I do, people don't. I just feel like, more people should put themselves in other people's shoes, have a little bit more empathy, and kind of try to understand what people are going through. This is why, I try to even have empathy for like my enemies or whatnot. It's like, because again, like even growing up in Russia, a lot of the people that I just know in general, because you gotta understand what is currently happening in the Russian society. It's like there's a very big rift happening between people who were kind of pro-government and anti-government. Now it's just like there's a lot of these different little issues that are triggering people in certain ways where people are like, all right, fuck this, I'm no longer anti-government. A couple of Ukrainians insulted me on Twitter. Now I'm gonna be like, we need to genocide them, essentially. Like a lot of people go that way. Like you need to be like present in the real fucking world and have a little empathy and like not be terminally online brained about this shit, because it affects real people. That's what I try to do. That's why I'm not like, my channel, I don't really try to start drama necessarily. Like I do talk about certain personalities, especially the personalities that I talk to deserve criticism. They deserve criticism. Like whatever. Once again, Tucker or fucking whoever. Like these people are not going to suffer as a result of me making a video on them.
Yeah, I wanted to see the alternate universe where Roman remained a drama YouTuber, but then started covering Russian stuff. And it's like the Putin situation is crazy. Like he's like
yeah.
Like he's
but I mean, I'm using those kinds of titles though. Like I'm still. That's kind of what's funny about what I'm doing is that I am kind of trying to touch on serious topics, but I do have to exist within the YouTube meta of like slop and whatnot. So I have made a video like when Ukraine took over Kursk, like the Russian oblast, like the Russian region. I made a video called like Ukraine invading Russia situation is crazy.
Yeah.
And then in the video, it just basically talks about how like I actually just used the video to talk about how like I don't really keep up with the updates on like the front line or whatever, because this shit just like, first of all, I don't know if this is the right. I kind of don't care in a certain way. Like I don't know how to describe it, but like I care about what's going on in the cultural level in Ukraine and Russia and how people like treating each other. When it comes to like war stuff, the front line, anything, it's just not my world.
Well, that's mostly for people with military autism. Yeah. Which is it's a big day for people with military autism. Every day you get an update about like how the troops are moving and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's YouTubers out there, like there's YouTubers that are making content about this type of shit, and they're basically making Ukraine situation is crazy. They put themselves like soy facing in the thumbnail, and they're like all right, 500 meters, the front line moved this or that way. It's just not. I just don't feel like I would. I'm just not in that world at all to even. Like I low-key don't even know where to get those updates. Like I've never been part of the military world or never had any interest in the military like ever. I think that has to kind of come from growing up in Russia also and having like a bit of resentment towards like police and the military. So I don't know. But yeah, like I just try to not look at it too much.
What do you think your life and your content would be like if the war never happened?
I don't know. It's in a way like I mean, the thing is, it's like the biggest thing obviously I guess that what changed with the war is that it did push me to leave Russia.
Yeah.
And in a sense, I do think that maybe sooner or later that was bound to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Because Like, I mean, even before the war, I already had, thoughts of possibly leaving or moving to another country, to like Europe. I thought of like Czech Republic originally, like many years ago, like around 2017, 2018. I was thinking of like maybe I should move to Europe. And it's just because I knew that Russia is like, this country, like with the fucking insane shit that they're doing with the psychopaths in power. Like, if nothing good will happen. Like, I knew that a long time ago, but it's just like, because first of all, I moved from Chelyabinsk, my hometown, to St. Petersburg, and St. Petersburg is like, it's like a big metropolitan European city. It's like cool as fuck, all sorts of young, cool people create, events and stuff. You can essentially live in St. Petersburg, in a sense of St. Petersburg. That's where I lived. It's like super European. Everything looks like, Amsterdam or Paris or whatever. And there's canals and stuff, all the buildings are European. And you live, you almost can live there in the sense of St. Petersburg in a little, little liberal bubble, kind of. Little anti-Putin bubble.
Yeah.
I'm using the word liberal because that's how they call anybody who doesn't like Putin in Russia. They call them liberals. But you can live in that little bubble and pretend you don't even live in Russia. That's kind of what my life was like for like that year where I lived in, not even a year less than that I lived in St. Petersburg. But then, like, once again, when the war started, that you just like you greeted with this like reminder that no, bro, you actually live in an insane fucking oligarchic like post-Soviet. You live in a like some insane fucking country. So, like, I don't know. I just think in a way it's good that it pushed me to leave Russia anyway. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's hard to say, to be honest. It would be obviously very different. I really do think, honestly, that if the war didn't start and if I wasn't in this position, possibly I probably would have not left Russia and I would have continued living there. And sooner or later, obviously, I would have to succumb to the pressure of this, like, just the censorship and the double think and everything. So in a way, I'm almost glad I was pushed to leave. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What's the the drum up for the patriotism there? Do you find like I don't know, I feel like the Western perspective is you sort of assume that everyone in Russia hates Russia. I think it's kind of like the perspective we get. But what is it like there now? Is there like a ton of people who are like super pro Putin, really pro Russia, like just totally?
You'd think that would be the people left, right? Like,
yeah, the ones you're hearing from.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, to be honest, because to me, honestly, it feels like to me. How do I put this? Like with the start of the war and everything that has happened, with the kind of a lot of like sort of anti-Russian sentiment in the West, a lot of like Russian propaganda loves using that, and they're really good at using that, and to show, they're really good at showing the Russian people like, look, they fucking hate you. We like you, but they hate you, and because of that, like, I think before the war, and especially like 10 years ago on the internet in Russia, right? 10 years ago in Russia on the internet, if you would say something pro-Putin, they would fucking kill you, okay? Like, everybody was super anti-governmental on the internet. Like, if you would say something pro-governmental against like Navalny or something, they would be like, this fucking Putin sellout, let's destroy his life. Like, it kind of, right? Like, that was the people's attitude.
Yeah.
But then the internet has changed. More and more people started using it, and now like the Russian internet has become super commercialized in the sense, like, it's kind of how YouTube turned from broadcast yourself, individuals doing whatever, to huge governmental conglomerates and TV channels doing shit. Like, that's what kind of happened to Russian YouTube. Like, a lot of it's just like huge Russian propaganda, conglomerates creating content for the masses, kind of, which is just like entertainment or whatever. But the point is that that entertainment content will never raise the pressing questions, So, and also, Russians, I think, in Russia, like, no matter what their political beliefs are, no matter how they feel about the war or the governments, I think they all feel very left out of society, in civilization, in a certain way, because it's like not super easy for most people, a lot of people, to travel or like make it to the West, and there's these like they shut off the Visa and MasterCard for Russians. That was the worst fucking part of it, by the way, is when essentially what happened is that one day like they just flipped the switch and your cards no longer work abroad. They don't work anywhere outside of Russia. Your Visa and MasterCard. So
Wow.
people were like annoyed about that. That also really like limits their ability to travel and like freely, whatever, send money and shit like that. Plus also with a lot of this propaganda kind of, and Russian propaganda showing the Russian people like, look, the West really hates you or whatever. They trying to ban our culture or whatever and shit like that. A lot of people in Russia who even used to be like pretty anti-governmental, anti-war, very anti-war even at the start of the war. Now these people are like, actually, maybe Putin has a point. That's what people are doing now, unfortunately. And I know people in my life personally that are like that, who, I thought we had kind of similar views for years. And, even at the start of the war, these people are like, oh my God, this is crazy. They even left quicker than I did. And now there's people that are like that I know who came back to Russia and they're like, actually, no, actually Putin does have a point. And actually, he's right. He's right to, destroy the global home or whatever. That's just what happens to people. It's crazy. So it's like, you just seeing, with many people, this is happening out of like this feeling of resentments and feeling of being isolated. But for many people, it's also like, in Russia, I feel like for a lot of people right now, this is something that's like happening in Russia a lot that I've noticed is that, like how in the West you have all this shit like with chats and, soy boys being based. All of that is in Russia now. Like Russia is going through 2016 right now, essentially, kind of in a way. Everybody is saying the word soy, calling everybody soy. Literally, this is not even a joke. This is what Russian internet is like. People are calling each other soy. Like, come up with a new, we have a good language. Come up with something new. Like, you fucking dumb fucks. It's just like, in Russia now, it's not cool to care or to want human rights, to care about what, like minorities. It's not cool. It's soy to care about minorities, about, the LGBT, to care about war crimes. It's soy. That's kind of what is going on the internet in Russia.
Wow.
It's I wanna die, basically. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They did get the Western cultural values. It was just the Chad and the soy.
They did, yes. Yeah. And now the West is the same as Russia.
Yeah.
Well, at least the US is.
Yeah.
So like Putin cannot even make that point anymore that they're against Western degeneracy and 72 genders.
Yeah, no, they're all pretty aligned on that now. And Canadian nationalism is coming back because of the Trump tariffs. Yeah. Although it's bipartisan, and the Conservatives and the Liberals are both pro, much to JJ's chagrin, very nationalistic.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw there's a big hockey game that's held every year between Canada and the U.S. in Montreal, and there was like Canadians booed the national anthem of the Americans, and there was like a bunch of bloody like helmets off fist fights.
Yeah.
And
the person they were booing was a 15-year-old girl in a wheelchair singing the American national anthem.
Oh Jesus! I didn't see that.
Fuck you, 15-year-old wheelchair girl! Not in this country.
Yeah, there's incredible things happening in America and Canada for sure. Like
yeah.
For me it's like I mean, it is crazy because even once again, even growing up in the East, you could say, right, like the post-Soviet world. You are used to, I grew up with a certain understanding and kind of idea of what the world is like how supposedly the West is supposed to be championing equality and whatever and like human rights. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Or it's hard for me actually to understand as somebody going through a lot of obviously growing up, becoming older and going through political change. It's almost hard for me to understand whether I've had a wrongful idea of the West forever or the West is just, kind of, betraying their own ideals in a sense, it's hard for me to tell. But definitely a lot of Russians, I feel like, those who are pro-government, pro-war or whatever, and those who are more like me, I think Russians on every level are actually feeling kind of, a big disappointment in the West and just what it really has turned out to be or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel, I feel personally, I was thinking about this, because around, like, 2016, when, like, everything started getting, like, very, very, like, woke and liberal, and the classic line was, like, my politics didn't change, the left left me, right? Like, I've been left-wing, then the left moved farther left. I feel like the reverse, where I was like always kind of a social conservative. Like,
We've got the most reactionary man here.
I was never super reactionary, but I was always like, I'm from a very small town. Like, I was always more socially conservative. And now I feel like the right
righted me.
the right left me. The right has just moved so far right, where it's like,
why I write the right
against democracy, against human rights.
What's that?
I think it's just happening to people on all sides, in the sense that, like, you just seen how mentally insane people on the internet are. And, like, bait used to be believable. You know what I mean? Like, now it's just insane. Now everybody's just, like, COVID has probably fucked all of our brains up. Like, like, people cannot, I just can't believe how people are serious about anything anymore on the internet. Like, the internet makes me actively so fucking mad these days, dude. Like, I can't. Like, I have to, and I can't do anything about it, because I feel like I have to kind of know what's going on the internet in order to,
there's no escape for us.
Continue my career.
Yeah. That's the trap.
You can't get out.
Every time I go to delete Twitter, I'm like, wait,
I need this.
I need Twitter. Fuck. Why are you banned on Twitter?
Oh, I mean, well, I could come back for sure. I just don't know if I should. Like, I was on Twitter a very long time ago, and last time I was on Twitter was like 2020, I think, or something. I mean, I essentially just got banned for ban evasion, because what happened to me is that the first time, like, that was my second account. I had a first account before that, and what happened to that one is that was like a very old account made in like probably 2015 or something, and it got taken down like 2017, and it got taken down literally. That was like at the time, me and my friends, we were like in a Skype back then, not even Discord, Skype, like, group chat, and there was one guy that, like, we like to meme or something, and like some of us, like, that, I was just a way smaller creator at the time too. Like, some of us have posted like pictures of him or something, like meme edits or something. I don't even remember. But basically later that guy had a falling out with all of us, and he like copyright nuked, I think, my Twitter. Like, that's what happened. For, like showing his face or whatever. Even though at the time he was fine with it. So it was some. I'm probably even bullshitting right now. That's just what I think. That's just what I remember.
Right.
Vaguely, very vaguely. But
yeah. So you're banned because you're banned. Literally 1984.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just, but it was just for like some stupid reason. And but then I made a new one, and I got banned for essentially like, that was really, at least that's how I remember it. Maybe I got banned for saying some stupid shit, but I don't know. It's hard to remember at this point.
Well,
that's like 10 lifetimes ago.
Twitter and Meta are state-affiliated media, so.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Well, right now, like, I'm just kind of scared to come back to Twitter, because in a sense, like, Twitter's just bad now, and like, I think I could potentially crush it on Twitter. Like, I could make like funny tweets or whatever, but I don't think I'm prepared to deal with all the fucking Nazis on Twitter now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my timeline is mostly Nazis fighting with ACP people, and then sometimes like OnlyFans or some, I don't know, like libertarian liberals.
I just get a lot of like shooting videos.
Oh yeah, gore
and just gore. Yeah, my timeline is pretty much just gore.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. Jane, one of the members from the studio, she was trying to convince me to monetize my Twitter because my tweets do well, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want more reasons to use Twitter. I don't want to have to be making money off of this. But I guess from a certain perspective, I'm already giving all that virl to Elon Musk anyway for free. So.
I mean, like,
that's true.
The discourse on the internet, like, it's insane. Like, we're all the same age. It's insane watching this happen. First person perspective. Like, I made a video recently where I talk about like the trial of Adolf Eichmann, and I have like multiple comments being like, they did Adolf Eichmann wrong. Adolf Eichmann was completely innocent, and only 200,000 Jews died. Like, everyone knows this. You fucking stupid liberal. Because I like just talked about a Nazi. Like, I was like. It's insane. Like, you just take things that you think are like common knowledge, but it's not common knowledge anymore.
My time to shine. Put on the Nazi hat, start typing up a comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, insane, this is the exact same thing. Is just what happened with the Elon Musk salute. Yeah, it's just like, all right, I guess they will defend anything now. Like, a video will come out tomorrow of Elon Musk fucking a child, and they will still find a way to like find a way around it. You know, like he like describe how he was making a point actually or something. Like it's like.
What did he mean by this?
What did he mean?
There's plenty of interpretations here, guys. Let's not jump to conclusions. Yeah, let's not jump to conclusions here. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. No, I get the doomerism though, man. I try to be like axiomatically optimistic, but I kind of more and more, especially in the last like month, man, I'm just like, wow, things aren't getting better anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We heard about the tariffs and like Brogan was like, 35. When I'm 35, that's when things will start getting better. Like you're giving yourself 10 years of misery.
Yeah, I'm locked in for.
Don't you guys think that we're we are the last? I mean, maybe the last generation that's gonna get like a good Earth to live on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
This
is it. This is the end of the road, guys. Like, that's just how it feels.
Well, I'm on the same page there. I mean, like people say, like, oh, Canada's gonna have a good climate actually with climate change. But I think that only works if
that's what people in Russia are hoping for too.
Yeah, but
the only people that like global warming are Russians, because like, oh, it's warm now.
Yes.
Like usually it's like -30 and you're freezing your ass off, but now it's a little warmer.
It's very convenient. And I mean, I can see that perspective if you're living in the north already, but people in Texas making this claim, I mean, I don't think that's going to work out for you.
Yeah, Jesus.
If it's already so hot you can't leave your house most of the time. One of our friends, Rowan, I didn't know what living in Texas was like, but apparently you just never leave the house because it's so hot. You have to have like the AC blaring at all times, especially in the summer. So
yeah. I've been to some hot climates and it's crazy. Yeah, like one thing that fucks me up is humidity more than even being hot. Like if we could just go outside and it's like it just feels like a sauna. That's great. Like I've been to Thailand. It was really cool. I really enjoyed my time, but I don't know if I'd live there. Like with the humidity. Like if my hair is slightly wet, if I go outside, it's not gonna dry ever.
I'm so glad to talk to a fellow climate doomer because Rogan's a staunch optimist in all of these things. But you know, if you want to talk about
kind of an optimist overall. I mean, that's just kind of the feeling that I got from watching a bunch of your videos. Like, I think you have a positive message in most of your videos, which I do like.
Yes, indeed. There's places in China, the humidity is going to get so bad over the next decade or so, and there's like I think 50 million people living in this area that they would not be able to survive because the humidity is higher outside than it is in your own body, and it would suck water out of you or something.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So
I didn't know that could fucking happen.
But don't worry, because if you live in the West or the North, they will just die and they won't go anywhere. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll get our crop cycles and our permafrost will melt. We'll harvest more wheat.
Yes. Well, this is one of the anti-climate doomers. We'll have 2 crop cycles in the West.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I mean, I feel like I just even live in my life. You know, I'm 27. I turned 27 recently, and I think I remember once again, like when I was a little kid in Russia, the winters were different.
Yeah.
They are now in Russia. Like. You know, and like my friends, once again, from Chelyabinsk, my hometown. Like Chelyabinsk is, our climate is kind of crazy in the sense that like we get all kinds of weather. We get like, in the summer it could be +30 Celsius. I don't know if you use Celsius in Canada?
Yeah, Celsius.
Okay, good. You're actual human beings.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Like when in the summer it can be like +30 Celsius, and then in the winter it can be -30 Celsius. Yeah. So it's like the winters used to be really, really cold, lots of snow and stuff. Now, you know, my friends are telling me, like my family, that supposedly the entirety of February there was no snow.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is that possible? Yeah, that's just insane to me.
Yeah. Same. I mean, my Chelyabinsk. What's the name?
Chelyabinsk.
Chelyabinsk.
Yeah.
Brogan does more GeoGuessr than me, so he's up to date with all these words. My version of that is Ottawa. Same thing. It was -30 in the winter, +30 in the summer, and we had a beautiful canal that would freeze over every year. And then for the first time in basically like recorded history, it just stopped freezing. It's pretty crazy because like also I had a friend who was like, climate change isn't real. And then for the first time in history, the canal he skates on every year doesn't freeze over. And he has to be like, okay, maybe there's something going on here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be an old man and you're going to be telling your grandkids, remember kids back, like, I remember when I was young, the canal would freeze, and now,
Yeah.
you know.
Anyway, go back to plugging yourself into the mainframe, child. The death bots have come, and I need to fight them off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe things will get better.
Maybe things will get better, though. Ever think about that?
Yeah, maybe Trump and Elon.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Elon's gonna he's gonna invent carbon capture.
Elon's gonna invent carbon capture. Trump's meeting in Saudi Arabia right now with Putin.
Yeah.
And the war's gonna.
I like
end.
how the issue of climate change straight up doesn't exist in Russia. Like, I don't think I've ever heard a single politician even mention it.
Yeah.
Like, even once. Like, you know what I mean? It's funny because in the West this is like a debate. In Russia there's no debate. It's like people just don't care, I think. I mean, maybe I'm just not like, maybe I just don't know. Maybe there is a debate, but like, I've never heard, in Russia a politician wouldn't go and say, I'm going to deal with climate change as a promise. Yeah. Nobody gives up. People are just like, why? Stop. It's getting warmer. It's getting better.
Yeah.
Stop.
We're getting there. I feel like just talking about climate is soy now. I mean, politicians I feel like in the last 2 years too, politicians have just stopped bringing it up.
Yeah, acknowledging basic reality is soy. It's weird though, because I could imagine a right-wing person who just like acknowledges that climate change is real and says, "Hey, why do you think migration's at a record high? We should, we're going to address climate change not by doing anything about the climate, but we should react to climate." And right-wing populists do this already. Like, why a wall around the southern border now exactly? You think that has something to do with equatorial regions becoming uninhabitable? Because the hotter things get, the more wars there are, the more droughts precipitate wars in the Middle East, yada, yada. So, I don't know. I'm surprised. I mean, you could make... This isn't... It doesn't even have to be... I think when you mention climate change, people assume, oh, you're going to tell me to recycle, and we're going to talk about a carbon tax. No, I mean, just look at the facts, and then you can do plenty of things based on those facts if you're... No matter where you are on the political spectrum.
Recycling is new to me right now.
Oh, yeah?
I'm only getting into it. Because once again, this is like something that people don't usually do in Russia. It's like you don't have like I've never in Russia, maybe you do in like some bougie neighborhoods of like Moscow or some shit, but like in a regular, commie block neighborhood, you do not have, bins for plastic, bins for metal, bins for it's just one trash bin. Yeah, and there it goes. Yeah, and that's how I live my entire life. So it's like, for me, like, recycling is Western degeneracy, basically.
Meanwhile, in the enlightened West, we have the recycling bin, we have the compost bin, and we have the garbage, and then we all put it in the landfill anyway. So yeah.
So it's all pretending, basically.
Yeah, we'll have garbage cans in malls with 3 holes that all lead to one bin.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Oh yeah.
But it's because the stupid goys won't sort the plastic properly anyway, and they'll just throw garbage in the plastic, and then it's ruined. So it's not worth anyone's time to go through it.
Oh man, we always turn this podcast into we get so depressed every time. It's like the conversation just starts an hour in. I'm like, fuck, man.
It's because you think it's because we're talking about dour topics, but it's actually because thinking makes you depressed.
Yeah,
thinking about anything.
What are you optimistic about? What do you feel optimistic about in your own life or geopolitically?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm feeling optimistic about summer coming soon, me going to the beach, quite honestly. That's what I'm feeling optimistic about. First of all, that's like one thing I'm excited for right now. I'm excited for getting the residency, traveling a little bit. For me, that's like one thing I really want to get into, because I didn't really once again, I come from a pretty regular family and stuff. Like, my parents have never been outside of the post-Soviet Union, basically, so like, still, and like right now, even when I'm living here, I'm trying to invite like my parents to come. It's so hard for them to get a passport and stuff like that, what I mean? Like, they just like not most Russians don't like. It's like, I think the stats, I talked about this on my channel already too. It's like the stat is like that, like over 70 or even like almost 80% of Russians have never been abroad. It's like, that's not good,
Yeah.
So I was kind of in that position too. And I really only started traveling in like 2019, 2018 when I got my own money to do it. So
is that because they can't afford to travel, or because they don't want to travel, or both?
It's no, it's, I think it just has to come from people just being poor and like also, it's a process, like going anywhere, you gotta get like, for most Russians, it's like, I always like to make this comparison, but like Russia is the United States of that part of the world, if that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? How Americans don't know any other language than English because they have their own like big culture. That's what kind of Russia is like.
Right.
A lot of Russians don't want to learn any other language. They have their own like big culture, big country, plenty of places to go to. And like, even if they do go to, abroad to another country, they just choose a country where they don't have to get a visa. So they will go to like Turkey or something like that, It's also not too far. So, I mean, for me, when I was growing up and being like a little, teenager or kid, I wouldn't even think to ask my parents to go to like Europe or something. It would be just out of reach and out of possibility. Like I wouldn't even have the thought. Like, I mean, even for me right now, I'm almost 30, gonna be 30, in a few years. I have like, I live here in like Portugal now in the West. And even then, for me right now, it's pretty like, the United States and Canada and that part of the world almost seems completely unreachable to me. And it's like, I'm almost like thinking, am I ever gonna visit these countries? Like, I don't know.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna smuggle you here. We're gonna do what we can. We'll get a guy on the inside, put you in a shipping container, and then you'll visit our studio.
Yeah, Gatsu, he was applying for a Canadian visa. He got rejected.
Oh, wow.
That's fucking insane because they're so easy to get.
He hates Canada because of it.
We'll give it to 30 million Indians before we give it to Gatsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I got. So I gotta put my notes out here. Also, the plane flipped. The plane crash at Toronto Pearson. It flipped over and injured 8 people.
Injured. Okay.
It flipped while it was landing.
So not 200 dead.
Not 200 dead.
Nothing ever happens.
That's so wild. Live plane crash on
was
a podcast.
There was there, well, first of all, why haven't you killed yourself yet? I have to ask this question every episode.
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think there's stuff to look forward to anyway. Yeah. Like it's just like, yeah, I think, I've been depressed there's been moments when I was very depressed in the last few years. Like I've never been truly really depressed in my life until the war started, quite honestly. Like I've had eras so and so, but like I was mostly, I think, all things considered, like my life, like I've been pretty lucky overall. Like with the kind of, with the stats that I had, starting off in my life, kind of where I came from and stuff, like I got pretty lucky, like that I'm, able to do all of this. But so that in a way kind of also is one thing, you're just thinking to yourself, like, I made it so far, like, why would I give up now, kind of. And also, there's stuff to be excited about. There's, I don't know, sometimes when it's just like, even if you go out to eat and have a beer and it just hits so right, you're just like, all right, this is what life is worth living for, like, never kill yourself.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I not just, but like the last 2 years have been, depressing, but, I'm kind of slowly getting over it. I'm getting a little bit of a new, I don't know if it's a new kind of like a new wind or whatever, how to call it, but something like that.
A second wind, yes. You made an album, right?
Oh, yeah, I did. A mixtape. I call it a mixtape because it actually is, to be fair. It's like a bunch of songs from different years kind of, crammed together, basically. Yeah.
And I see you have a piano there. Did you make the song?
Well, it's not a piano. It's just a, what's it called? Fucking
MIDI controller?
MIDI controller.
Yeah, MIDI keyboard.
Yeah. I produce. I make beats and stuff. Like I'm sort of decent, I'd say, but I do have my own like limitations. I don't know music theory actually. Never studied it, so I can't really play anything. So, but I have a good like sense of like tone and pitch. Pitch is the right word. And like my voice is alright for like singing or whatever. I mean, nothing autotune can't fix. And I mean, I like making music, but I've been making not much of it in the past, like once again, like 1-2 years, kind of just because there's been a depressive period. But I make stuff here and there sometimes. Like, it's a hobby for me mostly, but I do think I have potential, to be fair. But like, I don't know. I feel like it would be better if I collab with somebody. Honestly,
If you have any fire instrumentals, send them my way. We'll do a collab.
I do have fire instrumentals. Yeah.
Excellent.
You know, I was recently. Yeah, I'm actually thinking of like with music also. Like I am. You know, I'm a music nerd. Anthony Fantano. You know, fucking whatever. I like stuff that's kind of out there. Some of it. Like I don't like. I am kind of like I don't know how to say it. I have this thing where like I have a rejection of like normie music, pop music. I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to this normie shit. You know, I'm trying to kind of, I don't know. I just really like hip hop. Since I was a kid, I still do. So a lot of the stuff that I made is kind of hip hop ish. But like I don't know. I'm kind of over. I kind of fucking hate hip hop right now, like the culture. I kind of hate how braggadocious and like everybody's trying to be fucking smart, basically. Like, stop trying to be fucking funny. Like, can you make something like everybody's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know if you keep up with hip hop, but like everybody's just, it's like BLP culture, and you know this type of like hip hop where it's like punchlines and edgy like lines. Nobody's making like hip hop almost about like real shit.
Yeah.
Like the human condition. I mean, there are for sure. Like, and I'm not the type of guy to say that, you know, no more good music is being made. You know, born in the wrong generation type shit. Not at all. A lot of new stuff that I like, but I'm just saying, I would like to have a different approach now if I want to make music. You know, like something like that.
Interesting.
Also, what's your plug for clothing? Every fucking fit you have on is so fire. You have like all these dope brands.
Yeah. I don't know. Me, myself, and I. Like, I just, I used to not care about, like, first of all, like, I went through a couple of, like, aesthetic changes in a way. Like, I used to be super fat, like, when I was, like, just a young adult and a teenager and stuff. Then I lost a lot of weight, and basically that kind of opened up, you know, the world of fashion for me. You know, I finally was able to dress myself because, like, I'm also tall. I'm like 6'4", and if I'm fat, then like nothing fits me ever. You know what I mean? Like no. Like if I go to like a Zara or something, there will not be a single pair of jeans that will fit me.
Yeah.
Like right now, actually, because right now I'm kind of fat. Like I gained a bunch of weight, but only if I get super skinny. Like then that stuff fits me. Like I have like a. So a lot of the stuff, honestly, a lot of the time I do kind of have to look for like almost designer stuff for it to fit me because they make like oversized shit, and you know when it fits the right way that I like. And I buy clothes pretty rarely actually. Like I try to be like, first of all, because I'm not making like super insane money in something, you know, and a lot of these clothes cost a lot, so I'm just trying to be kind of mindful about it. And if I buy something, then that, you know, item will be with me for a few years. I'm gonna, you know, get a lot of wear out of it. That's kind of how I look at it. But like my aesthetic and everything is just, I don't know, it's just come up with it myself. I don't know. Maybe I just have a little bit of an eye. I don't know.
I know it's funny. I saw the video you just put out today of people accusing you of getting foreign funding and foreign aid.
Right.
It's fucking insane. Wait, what does that come from though? Does that come because you're anti-Russia, so they assume that like you're being paid to be anti-Russia?
From US AIDS?
Yeah.
US AIDS?
I mean, that's like most of the comments when you go and you read, it's like people are saying, usually they're saying, yeah, this guy, you know, sold out his country for like Soros bucks or whatever, you know.
Jesus Christ.
Look at this guy. Shit like that. Yeah. And it's like, first of all, like, I mean, it doesn't really get to me, to be honest, like at all. Because I know, like, where I come from at the end of the day. And also, how do I put it? It's like, actually, I think I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
I'd take the bucks. I'd take anyone's bucks. I'd take Soros bucks. I'd take whatever bucks.
Putin bucks.
I'd take Putin bucks if they wanted to give me
Oh,
Putin bucks.
yeah. I remembered my train of thought now. I remember. I was trying to say that what's funny to me is that these people, first of all, they assume that I'm like relevant enough and like influential enough for like Western funding to be allocated for my fucking YouTube content. And also, it's funny to me, like if my dumb fuck videos and you know the words that come out from this mouth are like life-threatening to the country of Russia. Like what kind of like it's not that strong of a country then, you know? Like what I'm saying is that whatever I have to say, like Russia will be fine. Like I'm not, you know, like the idea that what I'm doing is somehow like, I mean, I'm sure I'm talking about, you know, I'm trying to, you know, kind of go at their propaganda narratives in a way, but like the whole idea that, I don't know, people just take this shit too seriously, I think. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's the wave that the West is on now, man, is that everything we know is wrong, and like everything you've ever been told is wrong. North Korea's good, Russia's good, China's good.
Well,
America's bad. Like,
have you seen the North Korean pictures of how it's like a utopia and there's like flying cars?
oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about those
actually,
pictures.
they're doing that in Russia now too. They're doing like pro-North Korean propaganda in Russia now too, because like there are friends now, I guess. So now you have like Russian influencers. There's like Russian influencers going and living in North Korea supposedly. Like there's a few like that, making content
white
about
monkeys.
like here's my life in North Korea.
That's like the video you did a video reacting to like a war anniversary concert that Putin gave a speech at. And yeah, the picture you had of all the Russian flags in the garbage outside of the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Because once everyone was done, they were just like, "Oh, I don't need this anymore," and they just threw the flag away. Like
it's because it's literally like an event where well, that's what Russia does, is that for every single one of these like patriotic events, there is no real turnout, like barely. Like all the people that are there, they're like literally workers of governmental factories and like healthcare, you know, like people who essentially are working jobs that are subsidized by the governments. And the government is just like, all right, you have to go to this demonstration and kind of stand around, and that's gonna be, you know, instead of a work day, or you might even get a small payment. I mean, this happened to my mom actually, because my mom used to work at a factory, like a governmental subsidized factory, and they would ask her to also take part in like pro-governmental demonstrations and shit. It's just literally like what the Soviet Union did. They just continue doing it because it works, you know, like most of the practices of the Russian government are just Soviet practices, kind of, you know, adapted.
What would you say to somebody who's been like, if you could kind of change someone's mind, right? An American who just seems to have like been, you know, swallowing all the pills, really falling for the propaganda, like the pro-Russia propaganda, the anti-Ukraine propaganda. Like, what do you say to somebody to like to change their mind, to be like, you know, here's the reality of the situation? Because it seems like, I mean, I'm just too turbulently online and on Twitter too much, but it really seems like people just live in la la land about like how the world actually works.
Yeah. I think really a lot of it is, I don't know. It's hard. You know, in a sense that like I was actually thinking about this today, kind of, just in general. If any of us, or if I am necessarily trying to change somebody's mind with my content.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, in a way, because you gotta understand, like, it feels to me, you know, if you look at my channel and what I do think, you know, just because of like the nature of how YouTube is also, and how you try to make videos for your followers already, people who kind of already know the lore or whatever, know where you stand, where you come from. Your rhetoric is almost already kind of aimed at the people who already agree with you, right? So it's almost, in a certain sense. So I'm like, it's almost like I don't even know if I'm really, I guess I am trying to change people's minds, but there's like no particular thing. I think the main thing to talk about is just like your experience, and also kind of tell people about the reality of living.
I think the best way,
like the basic reality is just that, once again, that people are they don't have a lot of money and a lot of opportunities and a lot of freedom, you know?
Yeah, like sometimes all you have to do is just exist. Like that's you don't have to like study a bunch of autistic debate bro tactics. You like in someone like Roman's position, just existing and comment and like, you know, documenting your existence and being open with,
in a way,
what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I am like, because I am like I represent a certain archetype of a Russian. Like, there's a lot of these people, because, you know, you gotta understand also that what's happening also in modern Russia is that there's a lot of resentment also from many people happening towards people who left too. That's always existed as well. That's like a Soviet tradition, basically. to consider people who left the country and like in search of a better life to be traitors. Like they gave up their motherlands. They're trying to. They also like they usually say, you know, he's trying to suck up to like you know, they're trying to suck up to the West or whatever. They've given up on their place, their motherland, you know, that kind of shit. That's always existed, but now because, you know, once again, it's soy to care about anything. It's soy to care about issues. It's soy to be anti-Putin, you know, like so essentially everybody who left Russia is now just soy. So that's how a lot of people are just, you know, commenting on this. Well, and I do represent a particular type of Russian who is like pro-Western, whatever, who left. And yeah, just by me existing, I do get what you're saying. That's kind of a big part of it. Yeah, I guess so.
I think soy is the best propaganda term ever created.
Yeah.
If you don't like this thing, you're a weak man. Like that's genius.
Yeah. Well,
in Russian, it works really well too. Yeah.
Until you become so soy, i.e. left-wing, that you become a tanky, and then you start supporting Russia again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You've heard about that. The soy-based horseshoe theory.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The real horseshoe theory. Should we move to Patreon questions?
Yeah, on the real horseshoe theory, we do Patreon questions. At the end,
nice.
for our most loyal and beloved listeners.
But I'll do a closing shot. And that's the real soy and based. That's the real horseshoe theory. Bang! I shoot through the screen. Bang! Bang! Bang.